brother.
All right. So before we get started, I just want to acknowledge there's a lot going on in the world right now. And we wish you love, peace, and God. And let's get this party started. Okay. This is one of my favorite Eric Leeds songs off of Things Left Unsaid. It's called Commuting. And that's the closest I can get to traveling.
All right.
In the words of Vernell Hill, I did. I did.
All right. We are week 27 of What Did Prince Do This Week? We got a lot of people in the chat already. So let's get this.
Man, already?
Yeah, a lot, actually.
You know what? Hey, look, as y'all come in, hit the like button so we can get these likes up.
I love that, Ricky. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit the like button.
As you call people out, hit the like button.
That's what you're talking about, Ricky. All right. So we got Andre Staley first in the chat. That hasn't happened in a while. What up, though? I hope that hopefully everyone's enjoying their summer. We got
Detroit in the house from Andre?
Yes, Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Detroit in the house. We should know that from What Up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ooh, look at Drea Dances having an Under the Cherry Moon viewing party this evening. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's right.
Break out the silk pajamas.
That's right.
I see that Under the Cherry Moon. See, the Under the Cherry Moon is it free on YouTube now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning.
We're excited about that. And then we got Cassandra Bradley in the chat. We got Dorothy Edwards in the chat. Let's see. So Dorothy said, Architectural Digest did NPR Tiny Desk Tour, and guess what I saw? Duane Tudahl's Prince book, freeze frame at 0.1, like 14 seconds in. The book is, and we'll make sure we put that in the company playlist. And let's see. And Cassandra's saying his book has been there for some time now, but it's pretty cool. We got Christina from Minneapolis. We got April from Tampa. We got EA from San Francisco. We got TP in the house. We got Arlene. That's right. 130 episodes. Arlene knows what's up. Got to give a special thanks to Michael Dean because he didn't sign up for all these 130 episodes. Read it. Got to lure him in.
It's all good.
And we got our timekeeper, Ola. We got Ronald Dagwood Jr. from Maryland. We got Barbara White from the ATL. We got Vanessa in the house. We got Audra, another ATLian. We got Tanja all through the Under the Moon on YouTube. And let's see, we got Jesse. I love this. Blessings by Purple Politicians. We got Sister Charles. We got Duke Swan. And yeah, we got to say hello to Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky's what they call me.
Oh, man.
All right. Nick Belden from Denver. Will we ever know why Jimmy won't pledge allegiance? I think we can take a guess. All right.
This is one of them songs that play when you're in the club where what do you say? Yeah, let me get a fruit cocktail.
Yeah. Here's let me get a fruit cocktail.
That's right.
I know you like a fruit cocktail.
Thank you, Man Ray 10, for my welcome back. Yes. So what a good time. I haven't watched Michael Dean and C. Lee yet, but I look forward to it.
Oh, we were talking our stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Take anything personal. I'm just joking.
Yeah, they were. It was a great show. It was a
big
good
sexy,
show.
Yes.
We got enough rum.
Hey, man, so you know what? Speaking of fruit cocktails, I don't think I've had one since elementary school.
Right?
You know, the school lunches used to. Them joints was a staple with the school lunches.
I never liked the fruit cocktail, especially that red thing. What?
Yeah.
That red thing.
That red thing.
I hated it. I was just like, get that thing out.
Right.
Wonder where that ranks on the health chart, if that's good for you or not.
Well, they must have got rid of it because they don't do that today.
It was a lot of syrup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Sugar for days.
Yeah.
All right. We got Dr. Claus 77 was in Charlotte last weekend, so didn't get to be on the live chat. Love those purple bars. We got K Cool Music. Love God, love life. You heard a little love sexy. But
Oh yeah, there's a nice little mix in there, D'Angelo. I caught that.
Let's see. We got El Michelle. We got Theo. Theo, I emailed you. Make sure it might have went in your spam or something. Hold on. That's how to end the song. All right. So
everything.
Yeah. We got Mooches from Philly. Love seeing Vanity. We got 71. We got Raywin Harris.
What's up, Raywin?
Oh, thank you, Kim. Let me show you. I don't know why, but I just had to wear this today. It's not coordinated, no theme, but I was just like, I just kept looking at it. I was like, I want to wear this shirt today, and one day I'll figure out how to use StreamYard. They keep changing
StreamYard. And there was some video I think I saw where just showing how the car throughout the years. I want to say it was more of an R&B rap thing, but they were showing how the car. It was always the status was the car. You had to stand in front of you, pose in front of the car. You know what I'm saying? Like
posing in front of the Porsche.
Yeah. Even Prince was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? That balling. You're like, I made it, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. Look at Kim. Del Monte. I haven't thought about Del Monte in a
Oh man. Good old Del Monte.
Yeah, I love them. And let's see, we got Chanel. Got the Beyonce hangover from her concert last night in DC.
She was in the area.
Nice. I want to see. That's one thing I haven't done. I want to go see a Beyonce concert.
Well, I had a friend who has already seen her 3 times this year. Once in Paris, once in London, and once in New York. So they be traveling.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right. Yeah, it was. Yes. And then everyone should be very excited that they've released a remastered version of America. That's what I listened to this morning. That never gets old.
The whole 21-minute version?
Yeah, the whole 21-minute version.
There you go.
And I came out in real time. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I know. I was the same way.
Yeah. And then
you guys hearing like the keyboard solo? I don't know if you picked up. It almost sounds like it's in a different key or something. Just in the way that it's. I don't know. It's more opened up now. You can hear the whole thing. I don't know. I was tripping on it.
I didn't hear that. I need to listen to it again because I was like, I don't hear no difference.
I gotta go back and listen to it again.
To the Atmos version.
Okay. Oh, I haven't listened to the Atmos version.
The Atmos version is sharp.
I think I know. Like, is that the song Brown Mark said that he was like making a sandwich? I know the groove was so hard that they was playing, and he went to go make a sandwich, and he kept playing.
Man, I can hear it.
I would love to know if that was the song. That's one of my favorite stories ever. Almost my most favorite story about a bass player is Stuart Zender from Jamiroquai. He said that he was so tired that he was recording while laying on the floor, and they said he was asleep, but his fingers were still moving.
What song were they recording? Man, was it Mr. Moon?
Oh my God. I love Mr. Moon. That bass line is amazing. That's all right, Theo. I'll send it to you again after we get off of this, but be on the lookout for it, okay? All right. So let's get this housekeeping on out of here. And we already talked about this is week 27. We're going week to week, not day to date. You can follow a detailed schedule at this Bitly link or QR code. You do not need the paperback version, but this is the one that I have. What you got, Ricky?
Yeah, it's here.
It's there.
It's there. You see.
Yeah. All right. Cassandra's saying that America is my cardio workout song. That's right.
That's right.
I can see that. Make me do some cardio. All right. And these will be archived at Polished Solid as well as at MDean. As Ricky said, as you come on in, just hit like and help spread the word. One, we want to spread the word about Prince's work ethic. And then second, we want to spread the word about Duane Tudahl's books because they're super, super, super important. And let's try to get these views up too. We did really good for a couple of times. I got over 500 for a change, but now we're back down to below 500. I think Prince deserves more than 500 views. I think Duane deserves more than 500 views. And yes, Tanja, please. Oh, so Liz, I can hear something going on. Ricky, are you watching something?
Oh, Ghost Rider. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like the aliens are gonna come up and they out here.
You could have said, you could have lied and said, "Oh, I'm watching Sinners." You know?
Hey, man.
Speaking of which, Sinners is now also on something too. Like it's available to stream, so I'm very excited about that. And then
It is. It sure is. I could watch it in the comfort of my home now.
Okay. All right. So Theo said, I slept through last week's episode last week because I was out and about all weekend for Pride events in Seattle. That's okay. And then we got, yes, it's on Max. Thanks so much, Theo, about Sinners.
Oh, it is on Max? Oh, sure. Okay. I don't got to pay for it.
And then Lee Christian said, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? The bassist was drunk out of his head. They dragged him out of a bar to the studio and propped him up.
The great James Jamerson.
Really? James Jamerson.
Yep. The great James Jamerson played one finger laying down.
Wow. You got to love that. All right. So this is our hashtag WDPDTW. And if you want to get in touch with us, that's the Gmail. The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. Is an independent endeavor. And our community guidelines, we choose to be a community even when we disagree. All right. Because we don't all agree, and that's okay. We just played Communing off of Things Left Unsaid, 1993 Paisley Park Records, composed by Eric Lees and Gil Goldstein. There's no Prince involvement in this particular song, but it is hot. It's on fire. Love, 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 love this song.
Alfonso Johnson on bass. All right.
Yes, Alfonso.
Weather Report. Alfonso Johnson. That's what's up.
Yes. So that's the reason why it's so amazing. Okay, let's see. Thank you so much, LTK. I really do appreciate that. Yes, it's all about the algorithm. Okay. All right. And I can hear myself through you, Ricky. So
I hear something.
Yeah, if you
everything I have is muted, so I don't know what
it's coming like through your headphones or something like that. Okay, so week 27, and this is our 130th episode. Woo! I don't know about my numbers. How many more weeks we got in the year? Will we make it to 150 by the end of the year, or do we have to wait till next year? Can somebody do the math on that, or do your Googles? All right.
Are we gonna do like something when we get to 150? Is some sort of we gotta all reenact.
Let's see, 4 weeks, 4 weeks in a month. 5 months would be 20 weeks. So so we'll get to
maybe at the end of
Ricky, I got it. Actually, no, Celie, since you came in late, I got it for you. So on the anniversary, so when we do 150, you got to come in. You got to walk through that. See that door behind you right there? I'll sync up the audio. I'll sync up and go, wow! You're going to come in with the yellow butt out joint. Special performance.
Hey, man, or you could do that with Graffiti Bridge when he, busts into Morris and them club.
There you go. So you can either do Get Off. You can either do Get Off or Tick Tick Bang from Graffiti Bridge.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's do America to be on theme. He can come in with the handkerchief and the coat.
You know what? I'll play my bass for that. I'll play my bass. We do that. I'll hold the bass line down for you.
I'm not against any of those ideas.
See, that is a fam.
It's a teamwork, make the dream work, baby.
Yes, true player.
I'm with all of them ideas.
All right. And
we on something that another won't.
And Dr. Claus says Alfonso was also on that Billy Cobham George Duke Band live album. I remember reading they were chanting his name when he was on stage. I did not know that. Thanks for the additional information. And Dr. Claus also says, here we go, the four corners. That's right.
That's right. That's right. It's just around the corner, baby. Club Pandemonium all day.
There you go.
I'm with all that. I think you should make
Pandemonium celebrate 35 years this year. Club Pandemonium is gonna be Club Pandemonium in this summer, and like later this month. 35 years of Pandemonium is coming.
Dearly beloved.
Hey, appreciate you, EA. Appreciate you for that shout out, EA.
Oh my God. Okay, let's see. Oh, I love this one. WDPDTW, why does Prince dazzle the world? That's right. And yes, Pandemonium is it this week?
Wow.
I know it's this month. I don't know if it's this week, but I know it's this month.
All right, somebody go to Prince Vault real quick. Let's
do the Googles. Yep.
That makes me feel old. Like I'm like Pandemonium is old. Like what did that say about the albums before that? I'm like, I remember when I can remember literally. Fine, it doesn't seem that long ago, but I guess.
Hey man, yeah, me too. I do remember it.
I tell you, when I was watching Ryan Coogler interview, and they was asking him about the blues, and when he said he was born in '86, I like to die. I was like, but and Prof Duff can probably testify to this. There's nothing more depressing the longer you teach college to realize your students' birth dates. Like when you're like, when I had a student that was born the same year that the gold experience, I was like, damn, you
oh yeah, hey, bro, see, Lee, like I did that all the time, and my students, I do albums by their years. Yeah, I'm like, oh, you were born in '96, okay, yeah, emancipation, baby.
Yeah, man, there you go, your emancipation, baby.
Hilarious.
Oh my God. So I never think about the difference between the age of myself and my students until we start talking about movies. And this is a long time ago when I was teaching in Philly, and they didn't even know what Rocky was. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Wait, in Philly, they didn't know who Rocky was?
Yeah, I was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It really has.
Man, they probably thought but that statue downtown, they made
right.
about that dude. They made a movie about that dude.
And you still got the Philadelphia Museum steps that they can run up to. So people be running, and I guess they don't know why they're running up the steps. I don't know. LTK says they're a graffiti bridge, baby.
What? 90.
I will say this, and I've said this before. One of the issues is that because they get so much, basically all the information from their phone, they don't share culture the way we did. Like most of the people in this chat and most of the people on this screen, unless y'all correct me, you were raised in a house with one TV and one radio. So you watch what mom and dad and grandma didn't watch. You listen to what mom and dad. So the example I give is Flip Wilson isn't technically my generation, but because I watched the Flip Wilson show with my grandmama, I know who Flip Wilson is. And so now, because like my grandson only consumes content through his phone. Like he doesn't have like a quote favorite television show. And so because of that, I have to, like, I literally will, when he comes to the house and he knows this, he's going to have to spend like 1 hour with me consuming something with me, right? Because I want to share that experience of consuming art with him. But because they don't, I can imagine that they pass that statue every day, Rick, and go, who that dude? That's it. I shut up.
What a Raven to the 2000 baby, man. Is that what I just saw? Somebody said they were a Raven baby.
Whoa.
What? Dang.
All right. And let's see. Christina also watched Flip Wilson. I watched Flip Wilson. I know who Geraldine is. Do you know who And
Killer.
There you go, Killer.
Geraldine and Killer.
And then we got to make sure we do a Love Sexy. Love Sexy has surpassed the gold experience for me and is now my #1 Prince album. That's right. Tell the world.
I feel somebody that Too Shy go sneak up on you. You know that you forgetting the lyrics of Too Shy. Don't let that Too Shy sneak up on you. Because I don't know who was getting killed or why they were getting killed in Too Shy. I just want you to know. Who was getting killed and why they was getting killed.
All right, so let's see where we are.
Shout out to all the Love Sexy babies and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all the 1988, 88. All right, so this is what's going on this week. So we're not gonna be here very, very long because Prince was not in the studio at all this week, as well as last week, and I think the week before that. Yes, the Purple Yoda is alive. That's right. T really like that. And Dorothy just watched the Flip Wilson sketch. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so Wendy and Lisa were in the studio on Monday and Tuesday working on Strange Relationship, Yeah, You Know, and Evolsidog. All right, so who wants to read about Strange Relationship?
Hold on.
I'll do it.
All right. 175-ish, but go by the date, which is July 1st, because you don't have the paper book.
July 1st.
July.
Hold on 1 second. Gotta get to it. Strange Relationship, one of my favorite Prince tunes all sign of the times. Complex Studios, Los Angeles, California. So producers Wendy and Lisa, artist Prince, engineer David Tickle. Skipping the quote, right?
Yes.
While working on Strange Relationship, Wendy and Lisa added a sitar to the track, giving it an exotic feel, likely inspired by Lisa's brother David's interest in the sounds from other parts of the world. But the actual instrument wasn't used on the track. The sitar sound came from a sample from the Fairlight, reveals Wendy. I think he was really pleased with it, she continues. I don't remember specifically because we had to send it back to him, so I wasn't there for his initial hearing it vibe. Prince seemed so intrigued with the sitar that he'd added to multiple tracks from this era, including Adore, Big Tall Wall, The Cross, Crucial, and Mountains.
Right.
Keep going to Tuesday or just freeze?
Well, just freeze.
Okay.
I'm still like I'm reveling in all of Theo's comments because it's all about because people claim that people don't like Love Sexy. Everybody loves Love Sexy. And Theo said, if I had my way, I would have been born at a time where I would have been old enough to see the Love Sexy tour live. That is my favorite Prince tour, bar none. I was able to see that live 2 nights in a row in Atlanta at the Omni. And to be honest, no concert has ever lived up to that concert after.
I was at one of those shows.
Yes, it was amazing. And I've said this before, when I meet non-Prince people, but they're into music, and if they're older, they went to the Love Sexy concert and they say it's the best concert they've ever been to. And they're not even a Prince head. So it was like an incredible thing to witness, like being around, seeing the car going around the stage, the interaction between Kat and just Prince, and then Kat and Sheila and Bonnie and Miko. And it was just Bonnie Boyer. I mean, it was just like Levi Cecil Jr., like, it was just like amazing. I can't say more.
Yeah, it was a complete musical experience, right? You know, for me, hearing, you know, if I had a harem, what we would call him Blues MC, but it was to hear Jack You Off and all those songs, and just the like, you know, and the whole repertoire. It was, I would say that, yeah, it was a very super musical experience, and a guy that just felt like music was just flowing from him that night, right? It just felt like that, and it also felt like it's one of those times where, and I've used this Nelson George term of Prince, that night really Prince felt like an encyclopedia of music, right? He really felt like a prism of music. So I can get why, like, you don't have to necessarily be a Prince fan to enjoy that tour, because you get funk, you get blues, you get jazz, you get soul, you get swing, Like there's almost no musical stone unturned with the, and you add on to the fact that his own personal passion of the message that he wants. So you also get gospel, right? So it is basically a musical waterfall. I'll shut up. And because Sneak said something earlier I was gonna come back to, but don't that's okay. We'll get to it when we talk a little bit more about strange relationship.
Well, we can talk about it now though. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Are you talking about this?
Yeah, and so Sneak hit from what I understand, and we if you guys haven't seen, because it was supposed to have been what, 1 day and we did 7 days, the Sign of the Times. What did we do that Sign of the Times?
Oh yeah, we did 1 day and then we did, I want to say
like 4 weeks, four or 5 weeks.
Yeah, so look, if y'all ain't seen the 5-week polysolid Sign of the Times deluxe, I mean, it's a deluxe talking. I mean, everybody on this screen is on there and everybody you love is on there. But so to Sanique's point, I think
Michael Dean wasn't there. Michael Dean wasn't there, but Nicolay was.
Yeah, Nicolay was there. There you go. There you go. So to that point, brother Sanique 22, and we discussed this a lot. The question is, Prince, and that's why I wanted to win this part about the sitar here on Strange Relationship. A great deal of Wendy and Lisa's work actually got removed from Sign of the Times. So I think that's the point that needs to be made, and that's and not to relitigate this whole thing about the Sign of the Times is not the dead carcass of the revolution. Sign of the Times is a new beginning by a rejuvenated artist. That's why he pulled so much of what Wendy and Lisa had done from the album. And therefore, and I always forget, is it 2 or 3 songs? The day that the revolution. Is it 2 or 3 songs?
There one's, I know it's Beautiful Night.
Right. Did what they do get left? How much of what they did got left on Strange Relationship? That's why I was wondering about the sitar.
Oh, yeah, I think that might be it, right?
Yeah. So I would say I think 2 songs. So when you look at Sign of the Times, only 2 songs have revolution touches on it. And so I think that what we look at is a lot of what they said got taken off. And again, Sanique, I'm not going to debate, because I can't litigate that. But from what we see and from what people have said, that would be a debate that would have to be litigated. And so, from what I understand, and this again, so I'm not, and I want to be clear, I'm not refuting Sanique 22. What I'm understanding is there are only 2 songs that have revolution touches on Sign of the Times.
Well, I'll say this.
And that's why it bothers me a lot of times that Sign of the Times is often couched as the carcass of the revolution.
But see, Lee, this only happened, the carcass part only happened with the deluxe release. In real time, it was a new beginning.
Right, I agree, exactly. But that's why it's so important that when they did the box set and they couched it as this kind of carcass, it allowed all these other kind of writings and things to kind of make its way back in. So I'm agreeing with you that in real time, in fact, and this was one of the headlines that I hated. I'm gonna say this again. This is one of the headlines that I hate. In fact, in my book, I specifically say I hated this headline. But one of the headlines for Sign of the Times was, he's back and he's black. And I never understood that headline because for me, Prince never stopped being black. But to the point was, in real time, as Prof. Dust was saying, in real time, Sign of the Times was seen as a complete break from the revolution and a complete new beginning. And so that's why I hate that this revisionist notion of Sign of the Times being leftover parts from the revolution when nothing could be further from the truth. I'll shut up.
Well, I'll say this, not to give any spoilers, but I think this book, when we get further into it, we'll get details of what was left in and what was left out.
There we go.
So if you haven't read the book all the way yet, just hold on to your wheeze. It's gonna be some days a while, but hey, you will enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I know we go find out.
Yes.
And I do want to say, and I love the discussion because I think this is why we're here for the discussion. And two, I don't want to come off as one of those Wendy and Lisa haters.
We love Wendy and Lisa.
Love Wendy and Lisa. Love what they did after the fact. And here's the testament to how great Wendy and Lisa went to be on. We have fans who debate what their favorite Wendy and Lisa album is. That means you got a catalog. When folks are debating what your favorite album is, that means you went on to have a catalog that's worth debating. I'll shut up.
I just want to say hello to Scott Woods.
Scott, what's up? Cameo, sis. Inside joke between me and Scott. Scott knows what's up.
All right. So, okay, we could go, I could say more about that, but I'm not going to open that can of worms. Like Ricky said, we're going to be reading and we're going to be talking about all that stuff. That's right. Okay, so next up is Tuesday for Yeah, You Know, and Evolisidog. Who wants to read that?
I'll read it.
All right.
I read it just because I like saying Evolisidog is God is love backwards. And by the way, if you've never heard the Mojo, the 1986 interview with the electrified Mojo in Detroit, you have to go find that interview. It is a wonderful interview. The first day and the second day. All right. So Yeah, You Know, home mix, Evolsidog, string mix, the Complex Studio, Los Angeles, California. Producers Wendy and Lisa, artist Prince, engineer David Thickel. Want me to read the quote?
No.
All right. Claire Fisher arranged many of Prince's recent songs with an orchestra, but Prince had originally asked Lisa and Wendy to add strings on the songs from the Purple Rain era, and they would continue that on occasion. This is Lisa quote. We started doing that before the Claire Fisher phase, explains Lisa. So we started dabbling in it because Prince was saying the strings, try strings on this, or try some orchestral horns and stuff. We started first with our little group, and it was usually Lisa's brother David, Susie Katayama, and Novi Navad. Then we brought Sid Page in. Sid was great to work with because he had worked with Sly Stone and all that. It was really fun meeting him and having his abilities and his sensibilities. He kind of helped knowing how to voice things, end quote. 2 tracks were given to them for this occasion, Yeah, You Know, and Evolsidog. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., John L. Is that Leotine? Leotine?
I said Leotine.
There you go, Leotine. Stephen P. Mattiayo and Carlton Smith. Thank God, Smith, something I can pronounce. Was recruited to add their horns to Yeah, You Know. And from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., Susie Katayama, Novi Navad, and Sid Page were brought in to record a string arrangement for Evolsidog. This is Lisa again. Quote, I never worried like, oh no, we're going too far. I kind of liked it when I felt we were going too far or it's too weird because it would poke Prince and he'd either hate it or erase it, remembers Lisa. Or he'd be really inspired and say, yeah, keep going, end quote.
All right. So since you wanted to say that, Celie, how do you feel about the song Evolsidog? It's that we just have like a snippet, but
yeah, that I wish that I could hear whatever is else, whatever is left of it. It never made an impression on me where it was. Because I got to remember where I have it. You know, I have everything chronologically. Mm-hmm. So I don't skip it. Every time I hear it, I go, I like to hear the rest of this idea, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So it's an idea that I want to hear the rest of. It's not enough where I have a definitive opinion about it because it feels incomplete. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man, you know what that means? That's a perfect segue into a Dear Estate moment.
Let's do it.
Dear Estate, first, let us say thank you for releasing that America remaster this weekend. It was perfect timing.
Yes.
I know we love it.
Yes.
It made people go back and revisit the song and even look at the video, which is even more dynamic. But to piggyback off what Brother Seeley said, we of the fan delegation, we want all the music, snippets, everything, demo tapes, everything that's just don't give us the short versions. Give us everything. Give us the rough cuts. Give us, what I'm saying, the work in progress songs. We want all of that stuff. And don't worry about if people will like it. We'll love it. It's not if we'll like it, we'll love it because we want to hear it. So keep doing what you're doing, y'all. Doing some great things, and we look forward to the stuff y'all got coming out in the coming days, weeks, and months. So keep at it. That is the Dear State moment for the day.
All right, that's right.
Bravo.
All right, what about you, Michael Dean, Evolsidog?
I think I've only just heard a snippet of it, so I don't have. Say it again.
You're with C. Lee, like you need the rest of it.
I mean, but it sounded like it was gonna be one of them ones, from that era. So
right. It does it remind anybody else of Love or Money?
No, it reminds me of New Position.
Okay, that works. That works.
I remember it just has those sounds.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them New Position fiends, by the way. Like I love New Position.
Oh yes.
That's a stank facer right there. That New Position.
The stank face.
What Kim said. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we gotta thank the estate for releasing. Dear State, thank you so much for releasing the America art on the t-shirts.
It is on a t-shirt.
Yeah, it's on a t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
I actually have to buy that.
Yeah.
All right, estate. Okay, y'all swing for the fence.
Yeah, it's official. Thank you, Kim, for reminding us about that. And Ricky, what about you, Evolsidog?
I kind of have to go with everybody else. I think it was one of those, the fact that it was written backwards, it kind of tells you that it was going to be something heavy. And then to not get it like in its full entirety, you know what I'm saying? And you're kind of left wondering, like what it sounds like in its entirety. So, but yeah, I mean, I dig it. I wish we can get more, like the full thing if there's a full version.
Okay, so Kim is saying it's not the original single art, but there is an America t-shirt. I didn't look at it closely because I didn't. So, but it's
the little black boy with the.
Yep. But I don't think like either there's type on it. Is that what's going on? Are you talking about the type that's on it? Because there's no type on the actual single. Let's see. So Scott wants to know, am I tripping? Was the New America dropped on Spotify? I swear I can't find it. So I know it's on YouTube.
Right.
And I'm assuming it's on Amazon Music, but I don't do Spotify. So
it's on Apple Music. That's the one I use.
Yeah, Apple Music. So let's see. Okay. All right. So we're going to get to our last reading. I'll do this one, which is the Friday, July 5th. It's on page 177. If you have the paperback, I give a moment for everyone to get there. And let's see, what can I do?
Everybody say amen when you get there.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right. So Friday, July 5th, 1985, Monday, July 8th, 1985. I don't think that Susan Rogers slept more than a couple of hours a night for many years because I don't think she even felt comfortable handing it off to another engineer because she was like, I want to do this with you and I want to make it right, Prince. And I'm here for you, whatever you need, and let's keep going. And that was one of the reasons why he trusted her. And that's Susanna. All right. The Flying Cloud Dry warehouse was no longer available. So a new warehouse was procured on Washington Avenue in May, initially leased for a limited period. Prince, the family, and Sheila E. all used the space for rehearsals, but the lease on it ran out. So a new location was found not far away. But according to Susan Rogers, the move was complicated because Prince decided to change his equipment as well. And I'm going to read this quote from Susan Rogers. Prince was tired of using the API console, so he ordered a brand new Soundcraft TS24 console, an updated version. On this Friday, the crew and I were told to move everything into this new warehouse. The console arrived on Friday afternoon. We got it out of the crate, got it all set up, and there was no paperwork with this brand new console. Can you imagine no paperwork? This was Friday night, and now the factory was closed, so I had to trace down every single wire to the pinouts at the back of the console, and I was there all Friday night. About 6 o'clock in the morning, Prince came down with Sheila, and I was there by myself, still wiring. Although he would never go so far as to be complimentary, he did say to Sheila, "See, Susan is the only one who knows what I'm about." And that was his way of saying thanks, as close as he'd ever get. Of course, I was going to do it for him. By noon the next day, I finished wiring up the console, so I stayed there. And then he came down Saturday night around 6 o'clock and set up with the band. They started rehearsing, and he said, "I hate this place. Get me out of here." We had to get him back to the old warehouse on Washington Avenue, and now I had to rip out the whole thing, take out all these connectors, and then repack everything. It's now Sunday, and we are setting everything back up. At some point on Monday morning, this is now the 4th day, he came in and said, "Great, let's record." That was fairly typical working with Prince, reflected Rogers, where he said, "Move this mountain," and you move the mountain. Whether you had to do it with only a toy shovel or whatever, you just got it done. It was amazing the things that he would call upon us to do. Absolutely love this quote. Move the mountain, move this mountain, and you move the mountain.
Well, man, Prince was pledging them. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was like, he was a cold piece of work.
He was hazing them.
See, Sheila, this is what I'm talking. She know what I'm talking about. Well, let's go kick it. Get back to work. He was a wild.
Yeah, but can you imagine like all the time she spent setting that up and then having to do it all over again? Hey. Not all over, but had to pack it back up, unpack it again, and then do it all over again.
That's what she's paid to do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's getting paid. Ain't like she's not getting paid.
Look, I think a sister like would have gave him the business. Said, "Look here now." You know, but yeah. Like Mike said, that's the job.
It's the job. Yeah.
And I also think it speaks to Prince was one of those people. He projected his greatness on the other people. Like he had a mentality, he had an attitude, and he assumed that you had that same mentality and that same attitude. And so while that can be exhausting, right? That can be exhausting. That can also inspire you to do things that you've never done before. And so credit to Susan Rogers and all those people who were able to get projects done. I always think about that when Prince would ask people to do the impossible. Because the difference is someone who looks down on people, right? Someone who doesn't, they may see the best for themselves, but they don't see the best for anybody else. Clearly Prince was the kind of person that, hey, I'm trying to be great. I'm assuming, and I believe you're trying to be great. Let's be great together. And I would think that that's where, again, it may be exhausting to have a boss like that, but I think the rewards would far outweigh the negatives in that case. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I don't think he asked anything of them that he wasn't willing to do.
Oh, no, definitely not.
Like he was a guy, like if he was expecting you to stay up late, then he was going to stay up later. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And I'm glad that Sister Zakiya said that. I love that Jimmy Jam story. Like that's one of my favorite. I could listen to Jimmy Jam tell that story about learning to play 777 9311 because I do think that I'm glad Sister Zakiya, because I think that in a nutshell, along with like what Susan Rogers says here, that Jimmy Jam story in a nutshell of Jimmy Jam going from on one day, I'm giving everything that I can give. And 3 or 4 days later, being surprised at how much more he's giving now after just 3 days earlier, he thought he was giving everything. I thank you, Sister Zakiya.
Hey, look.
That may be one of my favorite Prince stories. I'll say that.
Hey, look, it wasn't 3 days. It was 1 day.
It was
right.
It was 1 day later. And just for the record, playing, singing, and dancing is not an easy thing. It is not an easy thing. That's why you don't see a lot of people do it. That's why, I mean, seriously, that's why I marvel at, like when people in the bass playing man community, they try to diminish, I know Jermaine Jackson's bass playing. And I'm thinking like, yo, that brother was 14 singing, dancing and playing, like having to learn like James Jamerson stuff. It was like that's no easy task. And so, Prince and them came up in seeing that. Yeah. And so, like, I mean, when you think about it, like I haven't seen a band since maybe Tony, where, people sung, danced, and played their instruments like that.
Right.
That was like the last time I saw that.
Yeah. No, folks don't do that no more. That we can say that died with funk. Well, I'm not.
Hold on now. Our guy Law, he do that.
Yeah, I want to say funk is dead. My bad. That may be a bad choice of words.
Shout out to Law. He do it.
Yeah, shout out to Law.
There you go, brother Law.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, Bruno might do it. I mean, does it?
Doing it? Yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah, I forgot about Bruno. I forgot about Bruno Mars. There we go.
Yeah.
He's not paying attention.
And let's second one saying mint condition. I've never seen mint condition live.
What?
No.
Never?
Never.
Flag on the play. What's going on, D'Angelo?
I was never really into mint condition. I only like the one song.
Pretty Brown Eyes?
Yeah, that one. And that's it.
Really? Oh,
man.
Maybe
you know what?
I do like that one too, because that's a different song, right? The swinging song.
Yeah,
that was a good song.
Yeah, I would say they were a little. They weren't as. How can I say this? Because I respect them. They weren't as funky as I assumed they were going to be. They were a really solid R&B band. Now I'll leave it to Brother Rick to correct me on that, but they seemed like a really solid R&B band, which is not a bad thing to say. It was just that I wanted them to be I want them to have a little bit more funk edge to them, have a little bit more funk and rock edge to them. So I appreciated that they were a really good R&B band, but
Yes. Okay. So I don't know when Mint Condition come out, but there was a time when I was just listening to UK music, with the exception of if Prince released something, I listened to it, but I was all into like the drum and bass.
Oh, with Jamiroquai.
Yeah, Jamiroquai.
Incognito.
Yeah, all the acid jazz folks, and then the broken beat movement, and then the grime, and then the jungle. Like I listened to that. So it was probably during that period. And when you're talking about drum and bass, you're talking about 170 beats per minute. So I wasn't messing with R&B because it was probably too slow for me. Because you guys know, like, I'm not really into the slow songs. Oh yes, somebody knows what I'm talking about. Goldie, that Timeless record. That's where I was. So that's just me.
Well, hey, I can share some live Mint stuff with you if you're interested in kind of checking it out. She said, she said, no. Oh man, I'm deeply hurt.
Wow.
Well, okay, tell you what, I will say this. Clearly, they were legit because Prince thought enough of them to have them open up for him. And he didn't have an opening act for a long time. So, like, he, like for the Welcome to America shows, he had like Mint Condition and Layla Hathaway opening for him. So,
yeah. So, okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to say this. So, we only have so much time on this earth, and you have to decide like what you're going to put into your life that's new and what you're going to listen to over and over again. So, I get a lot of repeat listening from Prince. Like one year I was just stuck in 1988. I was playing all the rehearsals. I didn't need nothing else. And like, so right now I'm playing a lot of rehearsals and stuff. So like, am I going to listen to Mint Condition or am I going to listen to Prince rehearse? I'd rather listen to something that I haven't heard by Prince than to spend the time. That's just me. That's
an unfair category. Your Prince will win every time. She's a Mint Condition and Prince.
Hey, Brother Dean, Prof Duff treated Ricky's invitation like there's a turkey salad at the picnic you don't want. No, that's all right. No, I'm good.
You're right. You sure you don't want that? I'm straight.
I'm very clear. Okay.
Rick was like, I'm gonna take my potato salad and go home then, damn it.
I'll get someone in the second round. You know, you don't never go back and get that.
And let me go further in the hole. I don't remember the name of the lead singer's name. I know I should, but I do not like his vocals.
About Stokely?
Yeah, Stokely. Okay. Yeah, I don't like the way he sings. That's just me.
Wow.
So if
but the hole is getting deeper and deeper.
She took the big shovel out. I don't like how he sounds.
Now, see, I ain't going there with you now.
Yeah, in fact,
I understand the reasoning. I'm just listening to Prince, but
in fact, I was actually going to add that, like, over the past 5 to 7 years, I grew to kind of like Stokely as a singer and a performer. Like, I didn't even know Stokely had moves like that until like over the past 5-7 years when I saw him do some solo stuff, and I was like, "Oh, dude can really bring it."
He's dope. So Stokely's dope.
I mean, I know people love him, and I understand why. I mean, he's kind of like Usher, right? Like the appeal to, but like Usher doesn't do anything for me either. I like that one song that Pharrell produced. You ain't got the call, but it's because of Pharrell. And I was just like,
hey, black women gonna be chasing Prop Duff down the street. hey, to all the black women that's gonna come after Prop Duff about Usher. I don't want that smoke.
You know, stand your ground, D'Angelo. Stand your ground, homie. Stand your ground, D'Angelo. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Oh my God.
Hey, stand your ground.
And look, Usher, you right, Usher somewhere in Atlanta, like, damn, what happened?
Oh my God.
Rare form.
Oh man.
Okay, all right. But I'm being honest. I mean, I've never been to an Usher concert. Don't need to go to an Usher concert. Don't need to listen to an Usher album. I'm sorry. I just don't. So
okay. Wait a minute. Since we here, I'm scared to even ask this question. I know I probably shouldn't ask this question, but we here, and damn it, I'm the one who gonna turn the lights on to see. So I'm just gonna ask. And I know I shouldn't ask this question. Prop Duff.
Uh-huh.
So what was your opinion? And again, we all have an opinion. So you're free to have your opinion.
Yes.
What was your opinion of Usher's tribute?
Oh, well, first of all, let me put back up the community guidelines.
Yeah, D'Angelo. Yeah, D'Angelo. Yeah, go in, D'Angelo. Go in.
Go ahead.
I wish I could talk about something, but then it would dig me into a further hole. So there is this book that I won't name because a lot of people don't like this book or the author, but there's this guy. He's an architect. He goes to jail because of this person. When he comes out of jail, he sees the person who put him in jail, and the person who put him in jail says, "You thought about me every day." And the guy in the jail said, "I didn't think about you at all." So that's my response to Usher's tribute. Like I
didn't think about it at all.
But that's my response to that. And yes, of course, I love me some Bilal. So the beautiful ones that he did, and then also Sister for the Carnegie Hall. Yes. So yeah.
Hey, I got him on my shirt around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there he is.
Thank you. Somebody gets it. Thank you.
Yeah, sexy.
Okay. All right. So hold on. I gotta go back. I went too far.
How did we even get here? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, we start mid-condition.
So okay, I can't believe I have to follow that with this, but I'm gonna do it because I want to. So yesterday, this is a book about the Doors, and everybody should know I'm a huge Doors fan. It's called Night Divides the Day. It is more than 300 pages, and I read it in one sitting. And I've never done this except for Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud. And I'm not even into comics, but I love reading about process. So this is the second book in my lifetime that I read in one sitting. And so I did not know. Well, before I think, let's see, do I have this one? I did not know that it was Jim Morrison's anniversary of his passing, which was July 3rd on 1971. So it's been 54 years since Jim Morrison has passed. And I know that because I was born in 1970. So I always know how long he's been away from us because of my age. All right. So my favorite album by the Doors was released posthumously in 1978, and it's called An American Prayer, where Jim Morrison recites his own poetry, which he recorded in 69 and 70. And then the remaining Doors, there's 3 of them, put the music to it. It's amazing. And previously, so this book I just read just got released, 2025. This was the second, the previous book, 2021, is the complete works of all of his poetry and stuff like that. There's a reason why I'm talking about this on What Did Prince Do This Week? Okay, so these are the 2 layman's books, meaning like they're around $50 to $60 a pop. But this publisher out of the UK called Genesis Publications released deluxe versions of these books. And this is only the first tier, not the Uber tier. This is the first tier, which is 1,650 numbered copies signed by 2 members of the Doors, John Dismore and Robbie Krieger. And then it comes in a clamshell that's inspired by one of the equipment cases they used to travel around with, as well as Jim Morrison used to sit on it. And then there is a 7-inch vinyl included in this book box set with demos of Hello, I Love You and Moonlight Drive. And this was released this year. In 2021, they did another release of all of Jim Morrison's poetry. And this one is even better. And it's you can get all of the poetry and everything and the lyrics to all of his songs in this collected works of Jim Morrison. But in the deluxe version, and they have one that's even uber than that, which is like limited to like 300 and something copies. But in this limited edition, it's 1,650 copies. There's an actual replica of 2 of Jim Morrison's personal notebooks. And then there was also a 7-inch vinyl disc containing 5 poetry readings. Why am I saying all of this? So the box set, Andre, is about $500 for this version, these 2 versions. And there's one that's above that. Now, Genesis Publications, if you Google them, if you do your Googles, they have box sets for Jimi Hendrix, these book box sets. They have box sets for Lenny Kravitz. And who do you think they don't have a book box set for?
Stokely.
Prince. So I say all of that to say, yes, Heavenly Gains, we're going to do a Dear Estate. So Dear Estate, please get with Genesis Publications and do an amazing tribute to Prince. You can have multiple volumes. There's one for Bruce Lee. There's just like so many different ones. And these books are amazing. And they're limited edition. They're sold out. Like this one here is absolutely sold out. This one here. And then the one that just got released is almost sold out. The Uber version, the one that I'm not even talking about, has already sold out because it's usually like 300 and something copies of that one. But yeah. So that's the reason why I'm going through all of this, because I would love for Prince to have a Genesis publication treatment because he deserves it. There's one for Janis Joplin. Like, I could go on and on and on and on. Go ahead, Celie.
I thought you were going to go another way, which was, because to come back to a conversation we had maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, that this could be a good example for the estate that you could do kind of like these high-end limited editions, right? Because we're talking about money and finance and all that. So you could do like a high-end limited edition box sets, right? Where you do maybe only 1,000 or only maybe 500 and charge whatever you need to charge to get your money back on that. And then some of the other things people could buy either individually or through streaming. So I think that that's looking at some kind of tiered ways to release these things. Because I do think that, excuse me, if nothing else, these kind of grand box set release things, these special editions, they do draw attention to the artist. And I think that they draw attention to the artist in a way that it says this artist is special enough to have these types of things. And I think that unfortunately, that's the way a lot of people's minds work. That if, let's say, the casual Prince fan saw something like this, that may make those casual Prince fans go, whoa, I didn't know the dude was, that anybody thought he was special enough to do these types of things. And so you could do, I could see them doing either a 1,000 or a 500. Say, look, we only gonna do 1,000 of these, or we only gonna do, hell, we only gonna do 250 of these, right? And then we'll do some other things and some streaming. I just think that'll be a good way to, and I want to say, we're saying this in conjunction to all the good stuff that they are doing. That's it. I'll shut up.
Yes. So we appreciate everything that they're doing. But when you look at the Genesis Publications website, it's about the greats. And I personally think that Princes are great, if not the greatest of all time. So if everybody else is getting this treatment, why can't Prince get this treatment? That's all I'm saying.
There's probably some suits involved.
Yeah, but there's still time.
Yeah, it can be done now with those. Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, they don't have as vast as a catalog as Prince has. So if you were to curate that, like, how would you do that? Because, Prince thing is kind of vast. So would you focus on like a particular era? Would you, how would you do it? Or how would you suggest that they go about it? Because, like we're talking about like a 30-year career,
The Doors was only 5 years.
Okay.
65 to 70.
Yeah. So how would you do, like, if you could do one for Prince or make a suggestion to him, like which one to do, how would you suggest?
I think the first one I would probably do is like a lyrics to Prince. And it would be nice to try to get like scans of all the handwritten lyrics and then include the actual typed lyrics as well. And then that's probably where I would start. But then, so like they've already done two for Jim Morrison and Doors, like 4 years apart, 2001 and 2005. Go ahead, Celie.
I was going to be fun. And for a low nominal fee, you can get an analysis of those lyrics along with your special edition Prince lyrics box set.
By one Celie McGinnis. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I'm willing to work with you, Estate. Give her a holler. Now, that's a joke.
But what's really cool about the Jim Morrison one, the one with the lyrics, is they literally have a replication of the actual notebooks.
Okay.
So like if we could get some replication of some of Prince's handwritten stuff, or like there's another there's also a Bruce Lee one, but there's another Bruce Lee book that has like this vellum, and it has like all these little one-off things, kind of like with the Welcome to America release. Remember when we got like the ticket and all that, like different like memorabilia? Like there could be like something similar to that.
Hey,
okay.
But I think, but to answer your question directly, because I haven't, you would have to do it based on, I think, eras, or how at least Duane is doing it, like based on years, like 84, 85, 86, 87 for another one or something like that.
Okay. I mean, I asked because I saw recently Bruce Springsteen has, someone in the chat can probably tell me, he has like a new set that came out, it's like 7 discs. And I don't know if it's live shows or like rehearsals, but it's something like that. And I saw it on Twitter X, or like somebody was sharing that in regards to saying, hey, like Dear Estate, y'all could be doing something like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, just asking. Okay, that's cool.
So let me throw out a bad idea that might be a good marketing idea.
Okay.
Run it.
And it's something that I necessarily wouldn't be interested in because y'all know my background, but I do think it would be a interesting marketing idea. What if they, and I don't even know how they would do it, but let's say they got whoever y'all would think would be, let's say whoever the top 10 either current or just 10 MCs that people would respect. And got those 10 MCs to go through Prince's 90s and 2000 work to pick out and discuss what they think Prince's best MC records are.
When you say MCs, what are you talking about?
You mean like rappers or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I know. And when you say like MCs, I was with you, and then it dawned on me that you're not a hip hop guy. So I was kind of with Mike for a second, like maybe he's talking about something else.
Yeah,
no. And I'm only thinking about that because I think it may have been Sanika, someone else, who said, is there any question to any doubt to Prince's greatness? I will say that as someone who's getting ready to do a masterclass in a week or so and has been asked to do them, you'll be amazed what section of the population doesn't really know about Prince's greatness.
Yeah.
And so I think that there needs to be some project where you're looking at, and again, to the people saying no to that, again, y'all know I'm the least hip hop person in the planet. So that's I was just throwing that out there.
Stop it.
But to say that there is a good enough segment of the general populace that really we're at a point that doesn't really know Prince's greatness. And I think that you do have to start thinking about those of you who are serious about doing that work about that. Because and I will just come back to say this. Again, I'm what's my man Public Enemy. What's the
Chuck D?
Yeah, Chuck D basically talked about, he said that the stuff that Prince was doing in the 90s was a lot better than the stuff that he was hearing. That's all I'll say. So that's why I thought about that, and I thought about Chuck D's statement. But y'all know I don't know enough about hip hop to make
Can I ask you? So what were you saying? You wanted to get 10 MCs to do what? I wasn't clear.
To basically curate what they would see as some of Prince's best either MC records or, and I don't want to call them hip hop records because I don't know enough about hip hop, but to have 10 MCs to curate, say, what would they see as Prince's top, say, 10 or 15 MC tracks?
Like rapping tracks?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, I'd like to see that not from like MCs, but from like certain artists in general, you know, like people who are like Prince's musical children, you know, like Jill Scott said, like Around the World in a Day was her favorite album. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd like to, you know, kind of have her go into depth on those songs as to why that one, you know, was so moving for her. Or like, you know, somebody like a D'Angelo or like Raphael Sadiq or Maxwell or like Michelle in the Cello. You know, have, you know, like those people who are, you know, clearly influenced by him, kind of curate something as to, you know, like what they hear when they hear certain things or certain songs, like you said, you know, kind of doing, I know what you said, but just hear it from their perspective. So.
Right. And so I want to answer Kim's question and then Chris P's question. Kim, the reason I said MCs because I was focusing strictly on that skill set, right? I was focusing, like I see Prince as, you know, I wrote a whole book about Prince's lyrics. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about Prince's rapping. I will put Prince's lyricism against anybody you want to put up against. Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Sly, and any MC you want. Go get any MC you want to go get. Line for line, image for image, bar for bar. I'm going to put Prince's lyrics up against whoever you want to go. Go get Biggie, go get Tupac, go get Jay-Z, go get any. If we just talking lyrics, we're not talking about rapping. If we just talking lyrics, Prince is one of the finest poets to ever be on wax. And so for me, it was then going from that position to do that. So that's why I said MCs, because I was specifically talking about his rapping and those songs in which he was rapping. To Chris P's point, that's also the point. Like, I'm clearly Chris P. I'm one of those people who didn't get off the Prince train in the 90s. I'm one of those people who was not at all interested in what was happening in black music in the 90s, because sampling to me I was not interested in it. But I do think somebody like Bomani Jones, who said something. Bomani Jones is a national sports journalist. For those you don't know, Bomani Jones recently said on his show that there were a lot of things that Prince was doing in the 90s that got slept on and need to be revisited. So I think that's why I was also looking at that, as that would be another window into having people look at Prince's 90s work in a new vein. And then someone put in about, what about producers? I don't have a problem with that too. You could do a box set of having known producers, known hip-hop producers, choose what they look at as, and then I'm just throwing these out there as, how do you get people, a wider array of people, to understand the breadth of Prince's genius? And I'll be clear, I'm not the best person to spitball those ideas, because I'm not as in touch with what happened in music in the 90s and the 2000s like the other three people on this screen are, and with the people in the chat. I defer. I'm never going to have a discussion or a debate with Brother Dean and Brother Ricky about 90s and 2000s, because I don't have the intelligence or the knowledge of what was happening in the music the way they were. So I defer to y'all in the chat to come up with ideas to address Chris P's point of, how do we get more people to recognize that what Prince was doing in the 90s needs to be celebrated as well? I'll shut up on that.
It almost sounds like, do we think that people don't know that Prince was good or something? Like, just from all the comments we've sort of mentioned, it almost seems as if we think that the people don't understand how great Prince was. Is that
I wouldn't say not great. I would say either slept on or underappreciated.
Right.
Like in what way? Just as an example.
Like for instance, like now people are coming around to seeing how great of a guitar player Prince was, from like the rock and roll, Hall of Fame type performance. And that wasn't even his best guitar solo. Like if you ask any diehard fan, they'll tell you that wasn't even his best solo. But when you mention, Prince played bass and he played drums and he did this, somebody will say, yeah, well, Paul McCartney is a multi-instrumentalist. Yeah, man, Paul McCartney is nowhere near the multi-instrumentalist Prince was. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that Paul McCartney wasn't, but he wasn't doing no let's work bass lines. Right. He wasn't, thumping out those 777s, and he wasn't doing no like piano and a mic shows only. Now, that's not to say that he wasn't good at what he did, but he just wasn't doing those things. So like when people talk about Prince, like when you get, as C. Lee says, like Prince scholars trying to talk about him, it's like people try to find something to like shortchange him on, or they're like, trying to devalue something. Like I saw this list somebody posted, Billboard's top 10 performers, and Prince was ranked like 7 or 8, and the people in front of him, he'd smoke on stage. Like the 7 people in front of him, like he'd smoke on stage. And I said to the person that posted it, I said that the only reason why they ranked Prince so low was because his bar was so high. They know that the other people can't reach that bar. So they had to kind of, what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like people are trying to take knocks at him instead of, kind of like recognizing just how great he was. And it's like, and it's almost like it's like a struggle that people don't want to like admit to it, like, wow, like dude really was all this, you know what I'm saying? Like dude really was, you know, what he said he was and what people claim that he was to be. And so it's like we as fans are always having to like prove to people, like, okay, you know, like you don't think he was a great performance, watch the Housequake clip of Sign of the Times movie. You know what I'm saying? Tell me he's not a great performer, or watch me, it's going to be a beautiful night, or watch, you know, like listen to the Joy and Repetition solo off the One Night Alone box set. You know, I mean, it seems like we're always having to kind of prove to people what's already there, and they
That's
just
the part I wanted to tap on. Why do we got to prove to them?
Well, again, I want to be clear. To me, it's not so much about proving to people. It's about, if we're going to have this discussion about how does the estate continue and expand Prince's legacy, we have to also, I think, be either objective, if not honest, that most people narrow Prince to an album and a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that what we have to be willing to do is find ways to expand Prince beyond an album and beyond a decade. And I'm the first person to admit I don't know how to do that, because I didn't understand why those other artists in the decades were so popular. But what I can only do is say you have to convince those people in those decades, right, about him. Don't often know how much other music, in the same way as they know Prince come off as fanatics. And wait, I want to make sure I'm understanding what Brother Lee is saying. The issue is Prince fans are so intense and don't often know much music in the same way they know Prince. They come off as fanatics and don't take criticism about him. I don't know about the last part. Don't take criticism. I think that is unfair whenever someone, I will say this. It's interesting that you would call someone a fanatic just because it's as someone who's as someone who had this happen to his own school. If you say something negative and you respond to the negativity, it's not fair to call a fanatic the person who responds to the negativity. So what I see a lot is someone will say something negative about Prince, and then if someone tries to correct that negativity, they get called a fanatic. And so I think we have to not fall into the trap of Prince fans are too intense and Prince fans are fanatics simply because Prince fans are willing to set the record straight. Because there's a lot of foolishness since Prince has died. And I don't think it's being fanatical by setting the foolishness straight. So, and I know that Brother Lee is saying that, again, in a general way of saying, how do we get more people to like Prince? So I would say that, again, I don't look at it as being defensive. I just say setting the record. But I just want to be clear what my point was. My point was that Prince is often narrowed to an album and a decade. And the question is, how does the estate expand people thinking about more than just an album and a decade? That's my point. I don't know how it's done, but I do know that if it's not done, you're going to run the risk of Prince becoming a marginalized or forgotten artist. That's all I'll say. I'll set up.
You know, I agree with a lot of the points. You know, I think, you know, I'm like you guys, you know, long time fan, would be considered a hardcore fan and, you know, really into all of the details and stuff. But I do find, you know, when I run into people who are not on my level of fandom or knowledge of Prince, I've never come across anybody, as I'm really thinking about this, no matter what their age, where they don't respect and vere Prince in a higher regard. You know, particularly after his death, I've bumped into people and they don't know much about it, but what they do, they always have like a reverence for it. Like, oh man, he was a dope musician. And I know they don't have the albums, but it's just from things that they've probably heard or what they've, you know, just seeing in pop culture, the way people have a reverence for him. I think he's one of the most respected artists, and I'm saying this from a layman's terms, not from, you can ask anybody in the industry, particularly artists, even the artists that don't even following all his music will be like, man, Prince is that dude. Like, are you serious? And I've come across a lot of younger musicians who feel that way, which is always interesting to me. But I've never come across even just people that don't really listen to it like we do. They all seem to know. They'll have something that they know, whether it's Purple Rain or it's the Get Off thing. It's always something, or Super Bowl was maybe one of the newer sort of flag moments. But they're always like, yo, the Super Bowl, yeah, he killed that. Even if that's the only thing that they say. Some of them will probably say that before they say Purple Rain, because I think for some people, Purple Rain is a little further away from the youth that are into Prince, but they know of the 90s and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like he is very well respected. Again, I can understand from a super detailed Prince fans standpoint, you don't know about that, but I guess my point is to say, do they really need to? Like, they respect it, they know it. Some of them are going to get into it heavy. Maybe some of them don't. But I guess I just don't want it to be like, and I'll use Sly or Stevie Wonder for an example. I love both of those artists, though I do not have the knowledge that I have on Prince that I do with Stevie and Sly, for instance. So I may really only be the guy who has the greatest hits album and maybe a few of the main albums that they have, but I don't have the deeper stuff, or I don't know it as deep. But I don't want that to keep me from having a conversation to say that, hey, this dude is dope. I love this song. It may be that, like I love Hot Fun in the Summertime. I don't know if that would be considered the super mainstream, but to me, like, that's the song I vibe to. You know what I mean? Like, that's just part of my life. So I just don't want us to push Prince to people where you can't have the conversation because we think that, they don't get it. I think we kind of saw this a little earlier, maybe last year, when it was kind of the age thing in the Prince community, where it seemed like some of the younger fans felt like there was a little too much. You don't know all of the experiences. But they are fans. Like, they do love the music. You give them time to grow. Last thing I'll say, and I think that Prince has lasted generations already. I don't see why he would not last generations moving forward. There's just too much music that he has out there that's uncontrollable. We can't control who's going to listen to what song and how they may hear it, as much as we may want to. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
So Ricky, you wanted me to put this up? You're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think that sums it up. I know what Sonique 22 said. I think as Prince fans, man, we all want Prince to win, and we want him, to get his props and get his accolades and be like D'Angelo said, when they mention the greats, his name needs to be mentioned. And so I think that's what we all want, and sometimes some of us get a little bit more passionate than others. And sometimes, like you said, Mike, it can have been some instances where it has kind of ran some people away. I know that there was a video I saw recently of a younger fan saying they were leaving the Prince community because of older Prince fans.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And that was unfortunate. And I was glad to see people in the comments of the young person's post gave them some, like encouraging words and comforting words and things like that, whatever. But I
that's kind of sad, man. I didn't know that. That's because that's not what Prince's music is about. Like,
yeah. And so
to do with me. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And so I think ultimately, like everybody, majority of Prince fans want him to win, and we just want him to be celebrated with the great ones and things like that, and see my man get his just due. And so that's all I'll say about that. But thank you.
We are the just due, right? Like, he's already gotten all of that. We would never even met each other if it wasn't the just due, right? Like, how do we even know each other? We know it because of some black dude made music in Minneapolis, and now we are all interconnected with each other.
Yeah,
it already did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's going to continue to go on. We're all different ages, different races, different parts of the world. I mean, how more could it be greater? I don't.
Yeah.
Hey man, Prince music does unite. it does a lot of things, and it does bring people together.
It does bring people together. So I'm kind of with Michael, and I don't know who or what is scaring the younger Prince fans away.
I am. No,
because whenever, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm still in the Prince community is, and like from day one, you've always connected with people. All of my real friends are Prince people, because like Prince always gave us something to talk about, and he's going to continue to do that. So, and you know, Prince, was all about loving one another, love for one another, loving each other. So I don't know where that's coming from. I want to say, I apologize. I forgot to say one thing that's actually pretty important about this Jim Morrison book, Night Divides the Day, because I would like to have something done similar for Prince, but it would be extremely difficult to do this. And this is one of the reasons why I read this in one sitting. They took quotes, and this has been like, there's a quote book from Prince, and there's a lot of quote books, but what they did is they took interviews from all four of the Doors, and they pieced a narrative based on these quotes from different sources. And there were only two essays from other people. One was from Chris from Nirvana, the bass player from Nirvana, wrote something, and then there was another writer. But other than that, all of the text was either, one of the four members of the Doors. And that what fascinated me, that someone would take the time to jigsaw, kind of like what Duane does in his books. But the thing is, like, there's no additional text. It's just the interview from each person. And if they could do that and it basically tells the story of the Doors' first record up until the end, some of their personal stuff. And it's just like really, really fascinating. So if you have an opportunity to check out this book, I highly recommend it. If you're just into Thank You, Lee, that's right. And so I just think it would be really great to do something like Prince, but that would be extremely difficult to do when you're talking about 39, 40 plus albums. And that's just Prince albums and not all the other Protege stuff.
I have a question for you, D'Angelo.
Because I want to stay on that for a second. I would say that to do it in print, I think would be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, though, that the estate has a blueprint to do it in audio. Because the Sneak 22 work, like I would love for the estate. Now, I don't know if Sneak 22 want me, but I would love for the estate. I've always said that I wish the estate would look at what Sneak 22 has done and to maybe either invest in some production value or to get with him to see how can they do it. But I think because that's essentially what you're saying is letting the direct people speak for themselves. And I think Sneak 22. So I'm saying I love your idea. And I think that if the estate looked at something like what Sneak 22 did, it would actually help them have a better understanding of what you're trying to get them to do, if that makes sense.
Yes. Now, I know, because Kim put this in the chat, that people don't read anymore. I still read, but this is the issue. The reason why I'm still a physical lover of physical media, like I like real books, I like CDs, I like vinyl, is that these digital platforms can disappear. And if you do it with the video, and like, I don't know, I mean, I hope YouTube stays around for a long time, but you'd be surprised. There have been like a lot of amazing digital platforms that have died along the way. And right now, like, books are a really great way to make sure that at least somebody have a copy. like all the digital stuff like disappears one day. I mean, at least it would be like this physical copy. So that's one of the reasons why like I'm still like a physical nerd.
Right. I agree.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna go to the Prince part. We'll skip all this. We'll talk about that next week. We already talked about America. I want to give a shout out to Vanessa for posting this amazing video of Brown Mark playing the bass line from America live.
Bass hero Brown Mark.
Yeah, it is so amazing. So go to Web Diva 1,000 on Instagram. And if you go to our website for our book, Ricky, whatever you're doing, you need to stop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're making a lot of noise. You can't
I was
hear it.
scratching the microphone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
don't scratch the microphone. Okay.
Itching for a scratch. Never mind.
Yes. Okay. Another thing I want to say, because this really saddens me, that Palmer's Bar is closing in Minneapolis. Now, I want to see if somebody understands why this is a big deal that Palmer's Bar is closing in Minneapolis. Does anyone know?
I ain't even heard of it.
Was it the Old Taste
No.
location? Oh, okay. I thought I just shoot my shot.
Oh, no. Okay, I don't think we're gonna get anyone. So when I was in Minneapolis last time in 2024, Cornbread Harris performs there every Sunday and has been doing so for years. And so this is a picture of him in the middle. Who knows who Cornbread Harris is?
Jimmy Jam Daddy.
That's right, Jimmy Jazz Daddy, who's also a musician, a very well-known musician in Minneapolis. Andrea Swinson wrote a book about him and also released an anthology of his work on Bandcamp. You can also get the vinyl, but like for someone to be playing at an establishment for such a very long time, I know this has got to be a really tough time for Cornbread, and I really feel for him. And I hope that there is another venue that he'll be able to continue to play at on a weekly basis, because it's a lot for him. I mean, like it's a really big deal for him to be able to play every week. And now he's lost his venue. So I'm hoping we'll come to the rescue.
Okay, why are they closing? I mean, do you know?
I mean, based on what I could gather from on Instagram, but they haven't come out supposedly with why, but what they're saying is that people aren't buying as much alcohol as they used to.
So that'll do it.
And it's probably an older crowd. You know, a lot of times when venues cater to older crowds, and unfortunately, you know, older crowds, we know what happened to older crowds. And so as the venue doesn't get new, younger crowds, I hate to use the word die out, but that's kind of what happens when the venue, and this is funny, and Prof Duff being from the South, and what you two, Rick, being from the South, old clubs and old churches tend to go the same way. Yep. Right? Old clubs and old churches both tend to die out because both of them have a difficult time getting new members. So anyway, that's it.
That is facts.
All right. So there is going to be a fundraiser, a live and in-person fundraiser for Dr. Funkenberry on July 27th in Hollywood at St. Felix. And if you go to his Linktree, which is Linktree/Dr. Funk Podcast, if you're out on the West Coast or you want to go out there to support him, and even if you don't want to go out there, on the link for this event, you can just donate. And in addition to that, there's another GoFundMe that has been started for Dr. Funkenberry. If you want to contribute, we want to keep Dr. Funkenberry in our prayers and want to support him in any way that we can. And then I don't know if many people know who Addie Durant is, but a lot of you know what the live reenactment of Purple Rain on Clubhouse is. And Addie was one of the key people behind that. And that was actually brilliant. And I think it's still on Clubhouse. If you want to go back and listen to it, it was like a total reenactment of Purple Rain. It was very, very well done. And I know Addie had a lot to do with this. I only found out about this because Ruth Violet posted this on Facebook or Instagram, one of the socials. So we definitely want to support Addie as well. And then Des Dickerson still has a GoFundMe going on as well. So support as much as you can. And this is the week's playlist. What I will do is go back and add those Sign of the Times virtual celebration sessions. That was a lot of fun. Those were the days we had so much fun that those 5 or 6. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, What Did Prince Do This Week, is because we had so much fun doing that. So with that being said, let's see, Michael Dean, unless somebody has anything else they'd like to say, take us out.
Do we ever, I guess we talked about America.
Yeah, we talked about. You can say if you want to say something else.
Oh, no, I'm good. All right. Well, man, another lively episode. Great stuff as usual. Salute to Ricky, Celie, D'Angela, myself, the audience, everyone out there. Kim, thank you for keeping us on point as always. Hey, work it like a job. We'll see you next time.
We did it, Kim. 1:35 p.m. Let it be said.
Yeah, we made it.